Next week, I think the BCS comes out with its first poll. The playoff poll, right? Top 4. Watch the lack of courage. You just watch this thing. Oh, it just drives me crazy. And I know that the people who vote on that poll, that's not the overwhelming, that doesn't have the impact it used to, like the AP poll when it was simply, just about voters voting. That doesn't have the voters don't have nearly the impact now. But this really drives me nuts about everybody. 2 things happen in college football that don't happen in the NFL. Number one, you control 25% of your schedule. So you can get on the phone if you're Baylor and say, trucking school, nursing school, would you play our football team? You can dial up schedules. You can dial up wins. Can't do that in the NFL. Can't do that in the NBA. You don't control your schedule. In college sports, college basketball, Kansas won't go on the road for the first month. They can play 16 home games against, you didn't even know there were basketball programs. So in college football, a quarter of your schedule, you control. Doesn't work that way in the NFL. Number 2 is conferences in college aren't even equal in terms of strength. They never have been. You think the SEC is equal to the Mountain West? Come on. Yet in college football, we're record obsessed. It's the one level of football we shouldn't be record obsessed because you control much of your own schedule and the conferences aren't even. We know there's more good football players in Georgia and Alabama than Wyoming. Yet the one level of football we are most record obsessed, makes no sense, is college football. Look, I would not, today, if I voted on the best 4 teams to get in, I'd go Ohio State 8-0, Bama 7-1, Clemson 7-0, and Stanford 6-1. I don't care that Iowa's unbeaten. I don't care that Baylor's unbeaten. Baylor's first 4 games were at SMU, something called Lamar, an open date, and the Rice Owls. Stanford got on the phone and said, we'll go play a Big Ten team, Northwestern. They go to bowls. We'll play Notre Dame. Maybe you've heard of them. We'll go play the UCF Knights, who, when we scheduled it, were a bowl team. So you don't think I'm going to give Stanford an edge over Baylor? Stanford had the courage to get on the phone and schedule real teams, and they already have to play USC, UCLA, Oregon. Cal's better than you thought. So, I mean, this idea that I'm supposed to love Baylor because they're scoring 60, of course they're scoring 60. They played something called Lamar. Of course they scored 60. And I don't buy this whole transitive property argument. Well, Stanford lost to Northwestern. Iowa beat Northwestern. Northwestern beat Stanford. Different week, different circumstances, different site. I'll give you an example of how dumb the transitive property argument is. Who won the national title last year? Ohio State. They got smoked at home by Virginia Tech, which lost to BC, which lost to Colorado State, which lost to Air Force, which lost to Wyoming. Is that what you want? Wyoming at 4-8, the transitive national champions? I don't care about your record. It's college football. You scheduled a game. Stanford got on the phone and scheduled real games against bowl teams. Stanford at 6-1, I believe, would pummel Iowa. But even if they wouldn't, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. You get a loss when you don't get on the phone like Baylor and schedule stuff that sounds like a trucking school. Sorry, that's the way I see it. And I'm not going to take calls and argue about it. That's just the way I see it. It drives me crazy. Well, we beat them and they beat you. If you did that with dating, well, I dated a girl who knew a girl who knew a girl. I'd be married to Elle McPherson. You can't do transitive property stuff. What does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. It's stupid. They're 19-year-old kids. 1 week to the next, they could break up with a girlfriend. They could have a midterm. They're on the road. They were at home. The weather gets worse. The coach yelled at them. Injuries. You can't go, we beat them and they beat us. That doesn't make any sense.